Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2017 video. Today you join me on the London to Faversham high speed line, and you join me at Ebbsfleet. The bit before this, coming out some pancreas and stuff, is all well and good, but quite a lot of it's in the tunnel, so it's not the best route to video as such. And as this is just going to be a quick little run really, I thought I'd do it from Ebbsfleet onwards. So at Ebbsfleet, we are then at Gravesend, Stroud, Rochester and Chatham, Gillingham, Rainham, Sittingbourne, and then Faversham at 12:33. So we've got about an hour to go. This isn't a route I drive very much at all, or use at all, to be fair. And I think I've actually got to switch over to third rail here. Oh, that's always the problem if you don't put this thing into neutral. Let me just shut that alarm up. Okay, past Ebbsfleet you need to switch to DC power, ensure the train has stopped and that the reverser is in neutral position. Press I to set DC power mode and press P to set the shoes down. Once the fog light illuminated, press P again. And I'm going to turn that off while I do it because it's hideous. So I'm actually using a sound set that's available. It's Verizon Simulations, do a new sound set for this. Was it IP? No. Yeah, that's right. And then it was pan up, shoes down. What does that mean? The VCB light, I'm sure, should go off, I think. There we go. That's us on DC mode. Yeah, sound packs from Verizon Simulation. That's pretty much why I was testing this. It wasn't really a run I had planned or a video I had planned. I saw this pack pop up today and thought, oh, give that a go. It's not without its faults. That was a bit silly, Al. Yeah, it's not without its faults. The biggest one being that at the moment I can't seem to find a horn. Which is quite annoying. This is pretty much completely new territory for me. I've never driven this far down this route. I used to have it on my laptop, but my laptop didn't have numpad, and this used to have. This sound patch actually fixes that, but the only way you could silence the DSD was with numpad enter, which I didn't have. This is one of the standard scenarios that comes with it. It's called Far Horizons. So today you'll be working a run from St Pancras International to Faversham, stopping at Stratford, Ebbsfleet, Gravesend, Stroud, Rochester, Chatham, Gillingham, Rainham, Sittingbourne and Faversham. So at Gravesend in a minute anyway. So that rain stopped, good. I can get rid of the hideous noise of the wipers. The sounds aren't too bad, they're quite good actually. Quite familiar to me, it takes the AWS sounds from the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 92 pack. Which I do like. See, all these noises are like the flange squeal and stuff are all new. This thing was pretty silent before, where with default DTG sounds it was incredibly silent. I would like to see a bit of a physics patch for it. I don't believe it handles like it really should. The brakes are pretty poor and it just doesn't really feel like you're driving much. It's quite a nice looking train though. My biggest bugbear with the Javelins and the 395s is that they've got sliding doors. They're not leaf like plug ones, so they're sort of recessed into the bodywork, which I never really like. I know it's for speed of loading and unloading, passengers' dwell times at platforms, but I just expect it to look a little bit more aerodynamic. You've got all this front end styling and then, yeah, just not very smooth body side, is it? I know it's probably, the effect is probably negligible, I think. So I was saying Stroud, wasn't I? Stroud, I think. Chris is going to be absolutely wetting himself laughing at this because this is his part of the country. In fact, it's not far from here as we speak. So, I mean, I'm not sure how realistic these sounds are. I mean, I have been on a 395, but that was a long, long time ago. I don't really remember them being particularly noisy. They were pretty much brand new when I went on them. We went to Ashford and back. Ashford? Yeah, I think it was Ashford. So you can sort of hear the traction whine, which is quite nice. When you're up at any sort of speed, the run sounds like pretty good. Me pressing the horn that doesn't exist. I'd quite like to see the loading figures for the high-speed one, like regional services like these, because I don't know how well used they are. It is something that quite interests me. I know when they first were sort of suggested, a lot of people were like, nah, you don't really need it. Service is good enough as it is. There is a surplus on using the Javelins. with Southeastern. So it does cost a little bit more. It was all sort of, I mean, they're called javelins for a reason. It was all part of the bid for the Olympics for London 2012. I think the idea was that they could shuttle people into London very, very quickly. It was part of the infrastructure bid. So part of the Hitachi A-train family. And I think they were all built in Japan and sort of shipped over here. I don't know when the first ones sort of started coming online. I think the first... Let's just try and work out what we're going on here. It was 2009, I think they started coming on stream. They're all based at Ashford now, I think. I seem to remember the first one of these coming a bit earlier than that, though. I mean, I remember coming on stream about 2008, 2009, but I think the first one was probably here about 2007. We're green again. Timetable journey to London from Ebbsfleet were reduced from 51 to 18 minutes. Oh, jeez. While using the entire length of High Speed 1, starting at Ashford, at a timetable journey of around 45 minutes. So May 2011, a service from Maidstone west via Strood and Gravesend started, followed by September 2011 a limited service from Sandwich via Deal to London St Pancras that was partially subsidised by Kent County Council. The total passenger numbers was 10 million, punctuality was 92.6, that's pretty good going. So realistically, these are the closest thing we have to a Japanese Shinkansen in the UK. Relative wise, I mean, they are Japanese. They're based on the A-train design, which is like the 400, I'd say the 400 series. I'm gonna have to look that up. I think it's the 400 series, the mini Shinkansen, and that again was Hitachi built unit. And that was the start. I think they were like early 90s. I remember them when I was younger, looking quite cool. And they really did look like a bullet. So they were sort of the bullet train sort of shape. One of the difference between these and the Shinkansens was that they were steel, these were alley. And these are all made of aluminium. Well, it's car body, so walls, roof and floor. And the walls are double-walled hollow extruded aluminium. Coming in here really slow. It's just having to read. As you can see, the sounds are by no means perfect. But they kind of work. They kind of make the train a little bit more interesting to drive. It's pretty bland default. In fact, it's very bland default. Hence why I've never gone further than this with it. I mean, I think I've done a scenario where I start at Gravesend. But I think the driver training one... How did I fail to pick up passengers at Strood? I'm here. What? Alrighty then. So it says here quite... I was just talking to you about the doors. And it says for reliability, passenger doors use a relatively simple sliding... Oh god. Use a relatively simple sliding pneumatic system already in use and developed for several decades on Shinkansen trains. The brake system was by Ebbsfleet, and approximately 40% of the train equipment by the value was provided by European suppliers. Oh wow! You never thought there'd really be a first from a DTG route for me, but I've never seen this bridge in my life. That's quite cool. That's quite a cool noise though, isn't it? Do you know when Chris told me this was one of the routes he played the most for ages, I was like, well, it sort of struck me as pretty boring, but now I can kind of see why. It's quite nice. Kent's one part of the world that I really haven't actually discovered that much of or been around. A bit like Dartford way. That's about it really. Which I can think of off the top of my head. I might have been to Gravesend once. Bang on the stopboards there. That was a bit of late braking that I think has saved my bacon. Well, not too far off the stopboards. So, you guys will be pleased to know that there's a few new manuals turned up this week. I have a up-to-date Class 315 driver's manual. a new-ish, actually another bang up to date, another Abellio one, is the 379 manual, which is super duper up to date, and this is a defect handling guide as well. How did I fail to pick up passengers at Rochester as well? Am I just because I'm late? Is that ill? God knows. But in this also has the degraded working speeds and stuff for 379s. This is quite interesting. This is off a mate of mine who was a driver, to be fair. I say was. So yeah, apart from that, we've got the EWS Class 66 prep and disposal duties. And what do they actually call this? Because it's quite nice. Another version of the Southwest Trains Train Crew Handbook, which is stacked. So for those of you that like the techie side of things, keep subscribed, because we will be getting back to a bit more of that sooner than you think, really. Hopefully the video after this one. Well, some 37 seconds. No, more than that. Some 2 minutes odd late. That's because I dithered earlier. Swapping over the shoes. Yep, failed to pick up passengers there. So what? Oh god, I'm speeding again. I'm not used to this slow stuff. What you might find interesting is another relative of this is the 802, is Shinkansen, and strangely, in-service speed for that thing is 160 mile an hour. So it's only sort of 20 mile an hour over what these things do. I would like a horn. Oh no, we're stopping at Gillingham, aren't we? So you still actually have a record speed as well. There's the record of 157 miles an hour done by one of these. But the in-service AC speed is 140 miles an hour, and on DC they can do a maximum of 100 miles an hour. So it reckons my ETA is like already. I've already gone past that. You know what I mean? Maybe 0944 or 0945, but not 08. Gillingham. Never been. The station's also it's all on the Chatham main line as well, isn't it? Which is another route I haven't really explored that much. I've done Chris's scenario and that's about it on it. It didn't say I failed that one, did it? I passed that one. Yeah, I think didn't I start here in a video I did with a Sheerness extension, I think. Yeah, those sort of rattling noises at the higher speed, I quite like them. I'm going to boot it a little bit for you just to sort of hear those. Now I'm going to come really hard on the brakes now. Oh, thank God for that. I was looking at that overbridge and thinking that was the platform. I was like, I ain't hitting that. Still really got to get used to the brakes on this thing. I'm like over braking, under braking. Doesn't seem to want to do much under about 50%. This would be a jolty old stop no matter what happened. Well, 3 forecast stop will do. It's not like we're going to be hanging off the edge of the platform. This platform was huge. Yeah, look. Passenger view is pretty spot on. And what have we got after this? Sittingbourne, and then Faversham, which I don't think I've ever made it to. So those of you out there who've got this, the bits that are the same on the Chatham Main Line and this, are they the same on both DLCs? So are they the same as the Chatham Main Line and the London to Faversham? Are those sections that are the same detail-wise, same scenery-wise? They do look quite sleek, don't they? Quite nice. You see that minimum brake as well comes in quite useful, but I'm still, sometimes it seems to do a lot better job than others. I'm not sure how well designed this DLC is, whether it's taken into account adhesion from rain and stuff like that. I'm to pretend my own horn. I actually know a guy who can do a amazing impersonation of train horns. Does a brilliant Class 47. And he does a pretty decent 91 as well. We can get up a little bit of speed before we get into Sittingbourne, that'd be nice. It's quite leafy, tree-lined, quite twee little routes down in Kent, isn't it? So now we're entering Sittingbourne slightly early. I mean, this is just a default scenario, so I mean, I'm not particularly fussed. I say that, but I've been moaning about it, I think, since the start, haven't I? Well, since I noticed it, at least. Those wipers on a touch faster. See if it's less irritating. In fact, I think it's more irritating. It's just the fact it makes like no noise at all sitting there. Oh. Do like the fans. Hornby do a really nice model of the 395, to be fair. I mean, there should at least be some sort of hum from it, shouldn't there? But for freeware sound patch, I ain't fussed. Quite like the way the light reflects off in there as well. What we've got in the Vendy. Kit Kats, drench water, light blue crisps like that, I don't know. Could that be a king size crunchy? Can't tell I'm hungry, can you? My wife's actually at a barbecue today, and with the kids, which is why I've got time to do some recording. But at the same time, there isn't anything in the house to eat. So I'm going to check the bank and see if there's enough something for a bit of takeaway later. Not sure what I fancy. I'm sort of that hungry that I... Do you ever get that hungry that you kind of don't know what you want because you want too many things at once? I mean, my default is curry, so we'll see. It'll probably end up being curry if I'm honest. But there's this new place in Cambridge open called Chosen Burger, and I'm also a massive burger fan. So if they're supposed to deliver, and there's some new London chain thing, so I might see if they deliver out towards me. Nowhere ever really does, because I'm just on the borderline of the city centre, which is annoying. Wrong side of the airport, really. It's not called Chosen Burger, it's called Chosen Bun. That sounded like something my dad would say. Like he'd proper get wrong. Oh, forward, Alan, forward. Let's do a little bit more of a normal speed departure so you can hear it. Oh, I quite enjoyed that. Oh, they do mac and cheese bites, which are fried mac and cheese bites and panko breadcrumbs. Oh, it sounds good. It is a bit poncy though, they sell Voss water. It's a word I haven't used in years as well, poncy. Proper 90s word. Yeah, too far for them to deliver. It's a bit annoying. So I mean, we don't even get Deliveroo because we're like half a kilometre away from where they stop delivering. It's quite irritating. Talking of food, I had a funny experience the other day when I was coming back from Newcastle, because we had the really nice tikka masala wrap and everything like that, but just as we were sort of about 20 minutes north of Peterborough, I thought, me and my mate both said we could do something hot. So we thought we could wait until we get to Peterborough, but then we were looking through the menu and saw these little hot pot things you can get on the train. And there was a curry one and something else, and we thought, oh well, a little pot of curry wouldn't go amiss. So we walked up to the buffet because we had to pay for it because it wasn't included in the first class bit, and they didn't have anything. They had a sausage roll or a microwave bacon sarnie. I was quite annoyed. It's disappointing when you've got such a... I'm accelerating just to get to the Morpeth board. When Virgin Trains East Coast do such a comprehensive menu, you expect it to sort of be there. Saying that though, I'm sure Virgin Trains East Coast's options are a lot better than a lot of other operators. I've never really heard good things about Cross Country's first class offering, or even their food for that matter. So this is Faversham. Nice. Well, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I'd say immensely, but I enjoyed it. Nonetheless, the 395 with that little sound pack added on is yeah, makes it drivable. Again, I'm not saying it's accurate by any way, shape or form, and I think there is 2 versions out. I might try and see if I can get the other version. But it has kept me entertained enough to drive it all the way from St Pancras down to Faversham. So, an hour or so. It's about an hour. 70 minutes, I think Scenario said it was. So, once again, guys, thanks ever so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to this video. Don't forget the Facebook page, and I'll catch you guys soon.